Hey, so Glenn, listen to this, right? So, what should she tell him, even if the number's extreme? Or should he have even asked her?
He
that?
shouldn't have asked her.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
you can't ask.
Okay.
You don't want nobody asking you that.
You get ready to marry somebody,
Right?
And you telling me that?
Oh, here we go.
You don't even ask them?
You wouldn't want her to ask you.
I think I would probably have to tell her if she asks. I wouldn't be evasive. And the problem is, at some point, when you ain't shamed no more, right? When are you not going to be shamed what happened? It's like, hey, you did it, right? But I think he's probably the type of guy, because there's some guys out here, y'all, listen to me, that are like women, okay?
He's sensitive.
Petty, okay? He's petty right now.
Okay.
And if she says, 30, is that a ridiculous number, right? If she says 40, what? And so I asked a friend of mine this the other day, right? And she said she had a friend that when she was 29, she had 67 guys. And the question is that too many?
How does she know?
No, you got to understand. The young people count. They counted, Glenn. You stopped counting a long time ago. They counted.
Let's put it in perspective. If it was mileage, okay. Are you gonna buy a car? Are you gonna buy a car that's got 60,000 miles on it, or are you gonna buy a car that has 100,000 miles on it?
God. Okay.
The price and the value changes.
I love the analogy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that I'd rather have. But this is something I've learned too. I've bought brand new cars with 5 miles on it before.
Right.
And what happened?
And it turned out to be a lemon.
So you kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, so you kind of got to just go ahead and wing it and hope for the best. Keep your maintenance up on it and do your best. But I like I said again, I've done that before, and the mileage. Sometimes you got to have a car that's broken in.
Okay.
You want to have a car that has some experience on the road, I guess you could say.
Hey, but you know what's interesting, right? 407-894-1680, 407-894-1680. What's interesting about this conversation, this is not the first time that this conversation has come about, right? There's a young lady a few years ago, Glenn, you may remember this show, who wanted us to post this question, and because her fiance, they had just got married, was ready to leave her when he found out her number. And I'm like, she wanted to go talk to her pastor about it. And she say her pastor was like dumbfounded about the number, right? So the question is, if you're a woman who slept with an extreme, I don't even know what an extreme amount, you're 32 years old, it's 50, it's Shanti. At 32 years old, right, as a woman, right, joining us here on the show is the owner of the Urban Empowerment and Inspiration Network. That's my girl over there. Shanti, if a woman at 30 years old, I think she said the girl's 28, 29, has slept with 60 men, is that too much?
Why? Why are we even discussing that?
No, because I got an email from a caller who's just got engaged.
I heard that. So what I'm saying is whatever put her in that situation when she was at that stage in her life, why are we judging her? Because she has learned, she has either grown, something put her in that place where she was in need of that attention. And it could have been negative attention. It could have been a lack of fatherly love. It could have been a lack of whatever she was going through. So we can't judge somebody.
So she shouldn't be afraid to tell him.
She should not be afraid.
Right.
Disclose it. Be honest. Come in clean. I did that with my relationship, my current relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you weren't over.
But I bet your numbers weren't high.
Right.
We're not going to discuss that number.
Right. Okay.
But I will say this.
Right.
We're not going to discuss that number. But I will say this. There was a time in my life where the attention was needed. And I'm not saying I made great choices, but there was a time in my life where I needed that attention, and I have learned from that. So I'll leave that there.
No. But the point is, though. I think the problem in all of this, the problem in this email to me is that she is afraid as to how he's going to react. Let me just say this, young lady, and you're listening, okay? If you are afraid as to how a man who you have said, I will marry you to, reacts, correct, then that's a bad relationship right there, correct, right? You should know before you took his ring everything he deals with and how he moves emotionally, right? The problem is these women out here get with these dudes and they have not created an environment conducive to seeing all of their emotions as fast as you can. You got to know this dude, his gauge of emotions and how he responds, right? Right, Holly? Because this is why you see these girls with these dudes and they've been with them a year and all of a sudden he punch you in the throat. He had the propensity to punch you in the throat 6 months ago, but the trigger or the window wasn't there, right? So if you're worried about how this guy you say you love responds to you because you done had a bunch of people in your life before him, then that's concerning. Would you agree, Holly?
Well, I'm like this. I'm like this, that if you tell the truth, you know, they always say tell the truth and it'll set you free or to give you freedom or whatever. But if you have to hide something or pretend to be something that you're not, then that's going to cause an issue somewhere down the line. And my thing is this, a lot of times it matters what, like you say, in this situation with the woman saying, I don't want to give him my numbers, but you have to take a look at the guy. If some men are worried about what other people think. And so they don't want to showcase a woman that where you walk in a crowd or you go somewhere and guys are standing there going, oh, yeah, well, I know that's good. We've all been there.
That's interesting you say that, Holly. That's brilliant you say that, right? Because as a man, that probably would be my concern. Where are we going to go that one of these guys or two of these guys may have slept with you, right? No, for real. Glenn, right? That's on Man 101, right?
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah, you be like, man, I can't take over there because I know.
I'm so glad that we. But I'm out of touch now because I ain't had to worry about that in a long time.
But listen to what I'm saying.
I feel you.
I think this is a conversation we really should have in this particular radio environment. Because some of the real rawness that we share.
No, this is real.
I've been the rawest person on this station for a long time. So
this is real.
Why should a woman feel that bad or that concerned that dude might leave her?
She wants to please him, Don.
Let's go to the phone line. Hey, you're on the Don Miller Show. What's your name?
Christine.
How you doing, Christine?
Hey, Christine.
Good. You know my question, I would tell him how many women you slept with.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, you want to ask me the question, what about you? How many women you slept with?
Right.
And let's move on.
So has a guy ever asked you that question, Christine?
Never.
She said that on gang.
I know, right?
I wish I knew.
I wish you would.
I wish a Negro
I
would.
wish you would.
I wish you would. You got that right.
Somebody would.
God bless you.
All right, thank you, Christine. But again, I go back to what Holly just said, right?
What?
You with this lady, she becomes your wife, and she's told you the number is 50, 60, 70. You live in a small community, right? So if her number is 60 in a small community, there's almost everywhere you go, she gonna run into somebody that's been with her.
It's like 1 out of 10.
Right. You follow me, Holly?
Yeah.
And as a man, that's devastating.
Oh, I get
as a man, that's tough.
It's really bad.
Yeah, that's tough as a man. You know, as a man, that's tough.
Well, you know that a lot of men, a lot of us are insecure about a lot of things. The first thing, and you know, and this is just, I hope y'all can understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, go for it.
But the first thought is, if you have been with that many dudes, how many of them were better than me?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Like no, for real, right?
But how many of them were better than me? And which one of them would you go back to? Which one would you want to know which one was? But now you're hurting yourself because you're asking too many questions.
Wow.
And the best thing to me would be leave that alone. Stay away from that because it really doesn't matter in the end.
No,
the bottom line is if it comes down to the sexual relationship between a man and a woman, if that's what y'all built y'all relationship on, then y'all gonna be in trouble anyway.
Well, I think I'm torn on this conversation, right? And because I've been with a woman who was out there and I didn't know, right? And Holly, I think you might remember this. I didn't know. I didn't know. Ain't nobody tell me. You know what I mean? Everybody was like, you know, they figured I knew, you know, and I did not know. And when I found out one day and she told me, right, and I was like, why didn't you tell me? No, for real, right? And so at that point, I had probably been in the room, right, with 20 guys she had slept with. I probably hung out with 10 of them, right? You know, Holly, you remember that era? And
I remember that era.
Did any of them say anything?
No, because
none of them.
It only happened once, and I'm gonna tell you the story, right? And I think this is where men come in.
They should have stepped to you.
But it's also private. This is the problem, right? It's also private, right?
Okay.
And I didn't know, and I found out. I was devastated, and I stopped seeing her, right? And I thought about it years later, you know, maybe I was wrong, right? Maybe she was leaving that scenario.
So you got to the point to where she was a jump off and you was treating her like a queen.
I was dating her. I was in a relationship with a jump off, right? I was and I look back at it now.
Yeah, I see.
And I don't know. I don't know if people should have told me, because you got to be careful with that.
But it shook you. I see it shook you.
But she told me when she finally told me, and we had a real conversation. You know, she was like, "Yeah, I probably slept with 6 guys on the team, right?" And I'm like, "On the same team, right?"
Yeah.
And that's when you go back and you look.
Shook
right?
you, man.
It shook me.
Yeah.
So the question is, should he have asked? I can't be mad at him for asking. You know, I cannot be mad at it. And I don't know how she should move on it, but I can't be mad at him. I think you just can't be. You know what I mean, Holly?
Yeah, well, I'll say again, Don, it's a matter of what do you care in the end? Because in the end, like I said, Don, I'm 60 years old now. Mm-hmm. Everything don't move like it used to move back in the day.
I hear you, man.
Back in the day, if the wind blow, I'm ready to go. Now, I gotta work up to some information, to make it happen. And you gotta rely on other resources.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah,
taken care of.
You gotta ring the bell.
Yeah, and I'm just being real truthful right now. Is that you've got to be able to have more of a relationship that's more
outside
than
of
just
sex.
that.
Yeah,
right.
That's more than just that. Now, don't get me wrong. You can't really just slack on all the time. But like I said,
sex is good.
Bring the noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I know she's listening. She asked us to bring this up, right? And I think you should be straight with him and tell him. Look, tell him the number. Tell him the number to your best recollection. I would probably make sure I knock about 10 off, but tell him the number to your best recollection.
Exactly.
Right?
Don, I'm with you 100% on
know,
that. I'm like, darling, don't tell. I tell my son this to this day. Yeah. Always tell the truth.
Yeah,
but don't tell the whole truth. Okay?
Holly, can I use that one? I got that one.
For that,
that's parenting. That's real.
I love that.
That's hardcore parenting right there.
That's real good.
That's hardcore parenting.
Yeah, and that's a better, safe way to make it work. Take a look in his eyes when he asks you that, and make sure that when you talk to him, you give him the answer that you see in his face. Because you can look in his face and say, well, if I tell him 5, if I tell him 10, he's going to be all right. If I tell him 11, he's going to be a little funny. So tell him the number that you think that he can handle, and then let it be.
But the point is, in our chat room, Jaquetta Simmons said the question is irrelevant. And I think when she says the question is irrelevant, you got to understand the mentality of men, right? And no, it's irrelevant.
We want to know, but we really don't
want to know, right? Yeah. Okay. It may be irrelevant to women, right?
Yeah.
But you got to understand men and women. I think if you put a little more effort into understanding men, I think you'll be in a much better situation relationship-wise sometimes, because he really don't want to know. but he want to know.
But he want to know. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, he don't want to know, but he want to know. And I have been there, okay? When I was like, oh, man, I want to know. But I think if the question, if he gets an attitude or gets up in arms when you're honest with him about your number, then you got a problem in your relationship. Let's go back to the phone lines. Hey, you on the Don Miller Show. What's your name?
My name is Denise.
Hey, Denise, what's your question or comment?
I want to know, do this woman or any woman or man have the right to say, I do not want to answer that question? Mm-hmm. I feel like if you answer that question, there could be more questions that I may feel that I have to answer then.
Okay, Glenn, go ahead.
We have the right to say, I'm not comfortable answering that question. And should that person respect that?
No, because when you say that, that's when suspicion. That's reason for suspicion right there. When it sounds like you're trying to evade and avoid the question. If you love me, you answer me.
But again, she just said something really interesting.
What?
She said that question is going to probably, in most instances, lead to more questions. You know what I mean? Like, okay, and then it's gonna get down. It's gonna get down to, do I know any of them? So thank you so much, caller. Let's go back to the phone lines. Hey, you're on the Don Miller Show. What's your name? Can you turn your radio down in the background, please?
Oh, okay. My radio is down.
How you doing, my friend?
All right. How you doing, Mr. Nuss? Yes, sir. We used to have in our day, hear your conversation. Mm-hmm. We used to have in my day, I'm 58 years old now, but when I was younger, if that old saying, hey, I don't see your name on it. You remember when we used to say that stuff?
Yeah, but what are you talking about with a bunch of names on it? We talking about a bunch of names. Yeah. We talking about a plaque. Okay.
God. We used to, if your name ain't on her, she was up for grabs.
Okay, all right.
That was for my day.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to say that
hey, man, that should be the same thing now. You should go, if you in the Christian thing, hey, forgetting those things that are behind and pressing forward.
Okay.
You know, so you don't ask no questions that don't need answering, and you ain't got to tell a lot.
Absolutely.
Answer the question from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Don't wait till you get way down in the end and spring it on it.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, caller. That's an interesting point. Let's go back to the phone lines. Hey, you on the Don Miller Show. What's your name? Hey, how you doing? What's your name?
I'm Drina.
Hey, oh this is not going to end well. Oh, no. Okay. Somebody text Drina was like, Lord. They talk about one of your topics. Drina, you've had this conversation with people before, haven't you?
I've had this conversation.
On your show, I think, right?
So, listen, this is what I'm going to say. I just called in to say something. So this is what I'm going to say. When it comes down to that question, people have the right to ask you whatever question they want to ask you.
See that?
But you don't have to answer every question you receive. Mm-hmm. I believe we all have a choice and we all have a right at it. So there is no way that I myself going to feel like I'm pressured into answering any question. Okay. I honestly think the amount of men that you've had is not even the amount of sex that you've had.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The amount of sex that you've had is more than the men you've had. Mm-hmm. So which one is more important?
Right. Okay. So what Drina's saying, so the amount of sex that you had, Holly, take that question. Take that one.
Well, all I'm going to say now, again, that goes back, everything goes back to the mentality of the person that you're dealing with, is that if you have a man that is that important to him, then you need, and you want to keep him, then you need to give him the answer that he needs.
If you want to keep
that answer.
Wow. I like that. Right. I like that. I like that, Drina. I like that.
If you want to keep him.
If you want to keep him and stick with your story. I mean, like I said again, tell the truth, but don't tell all the truth.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. My thing is, if he's an insecure man, he's not meant to be with me.
Okay.
And that can be very true. But then again, if you flip the script and then you find out that he says, well, I've been with this many women, and then you're like, now all of a sudden, like you said, these other questions
Man, I
come
done
up.
been there, done that. That's your past. As long as you're not doing it while you with me, I don't care. That is your past.
I don't know, Drina. I don't know about that, Drina.
I'm telling you right now.
You sound
I don't know.
I'll be caring.
Drina.
No.
So, Drina, you up there on the praise team.
No.
Both of y'all know me.
Drina, you up there on the praise team, right?
No, Drina.
Drina.
So, Glenn, don't come at me.
But Drina, you up there on the praise team. You up there on the praise team, Drina, and your guy tells you there are 2 other women on the praise team with you. Okay? You're telling me you ain't going to be moved by that?
I have been in a church.
I was fixing to say.
She got every curveball.
I was fixing to say.
What happened?
Y'all don't play with me now.
I was fixing to say.
To a church where multiple people have been with a partner that I've had in my life.
Okay.
And
I know that to be a fact.
But Drina, there was one lady, Drina.
And guess what?
Drina, there was one lady, you wouldn't even say God bless you to that lady for years.
She took that lady wig off.
That lady speak to you, you wouldn't even respond. Drina, go on with that nonsense.
Drina dragged that lady. What you talking about?
Yeah, that's why I know she's talking crazy. Hey, Holly.
Drag that lady. What are you talking about?
We still trying to figure out how that lady wig got in the pulpit.
I don't know what God talking about. God is crazy.
It was the first lady.
Remember that? Drina?
It was the first lady.
So, Drina, go on with this nonsense,
all right,
okay?
all right.
Go on with this nonsense, Drina. All right? You do care. See, Holly, Drina called in here like she an imposter. We know Drina. That lady's wig was underneath.
She don't play.
That lady's wig was underneath the bishop's chair. They've been looking for that wig. The janitor found the wig 3 days ago.
God has a creative mind.
Father.
Thank you so much. Hey,
completely creative.
we got a phone call.
You do. Drina, we love you.
Love you, Drina. If you want to call back, call back. You play too much.
I know.
Beat that
There
lady
you go.
like that in
Phone
church.
call.
Drina beat the heck out of that lady in church. Hey, you on the Don Miller Show?
Yeah.
Hey, you on the Don Miller Show?
Yes, this AJ, I got 2 comments.
Go for it.
I was always taught old school by the grandparents that you can't complain about what you can't measure. Next thing was that there's no person gonna really be truthful about how many people they've slept with, because if you do, you got to add in the ones that they lust for sexually. That's got to be added in too.
Come on now, you.
Wait a minute, Shanti, amen that. Shanti, amen that.
Shanti need to leave the studio.
Shanti,
right?
you did too. No, you did. No, you amen that.
Hold on, we say add in the people you lust for.
That's what he said. That was real spiritual.
Sexual manner. Yes.
So you saying that
because you
the ones
it's
that
for the
you
same reason.
with, but without them, that you've been by yourself, but you've been with them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, in their mind. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
why you laughing at it, man?
Then I'm really in trouble.
All us, yeah.
I'm on the way to hell I'm on the way to hell on the monorail.
That's right.
Okay, if that's the problem, I know I'm on my way to hell immediately. Do not pass go. Okay. Thank you so much, Carl. See what he said. So you got to add the ones you lust for.
That's what he said.
You can't drive down Colonial Drive without lusting.
This thought came to me. With the
can't drive on Madison.
With the chick that you was with, you know, she had a good,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So did it get any less good when you found out of the number of partners that she had?
And that's, I think, is the
she had the good. Crux, it was still the good.
The crux in this conversation.
Holly, you hear me?
Well, again, it's all a mindset. When you listen to it, just even what he said about you've got to include the ones that you've lusted over. You've been with the one you with and lusted while you were in there with them before. Okay, Holly Berry has popped in your head at times when you was doing something different.
Let me just say this though. One of the people, this person on social media just said, similar to a credit report, they fall off after 7 years. So it really doesn't matter.
All right. So we
I love your show. I love your show.
Okay. They fall off after 7 years.
Show.
No, they fall off after 7 years.
After 7 years? After 7 years.
Yeah.
They fall off.
Wow. Okay.
I like that.
Or right.
Shanti? Yeah.
Or you divide your number, as my niece, young 22-year-old white girl, just told me yesterday.
What do you do?
She say, Uncle Don, you divide your number by 3.
By 3?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's your number. That's what you tell them. That's your number.
Okay.
So you divide your number by 3.
Why can't we just have the Staples reset button? Just push the button. There it goes.
I remember that.
She needs counseling.
I know.
Again, I just think right now that you're dating a soft guy. You're dating a weak guy, right? And
what's soft and weak about wanting to know who your baby's been with?
Because let me tell you how you do that. He could have done that much better than the way he presented it, right? Just based on what she said. He just asked her, like, dude, there's a better way to find out.
Your sexual history.
Well, no. You got to know the timing has to be right for you to engage in certain conversations, right? And you have to get a woman very comfortable, very relaxed for her to really tell you something on that matter. You don't ask her that at dinner, Holly. Would you agree?
Right. That wouldn't be a good time.
So I think you do what I've done on many occasions. You get her really drunk.
Curveball.
You get her really drunk, right?
Yeah.
You get her really drunk, and you just, you know what? And you just start inundating her with questions, like back to back to back to back. At some point, right? She's gonna tell you something, okay? And you got to do this really before you cross the line anyway. You got to get her really drunk if she drinks. If she don't drink, you got to find a way to get her to drink, right? Or get her to.
Well, let's change the word from drunk to inebriated, okay? Because drunk sounds so vicious.
Okay, get her inebriated. But the point is, this is very important, right? I just think you got to make a woman comfortable for her to have that conversation with you.
Absolutely.
And if she's comfortable in the relationship, in real life, okay? If she's really comfortable in the relationship, she's going to be, but for her to send me an email to the show, she's not really.
She's not.
She ain't totally comfortable in the relationship. She don't know how to respond. She says she's in church now. Her life's different. But
he made her feel awkward.
But she says she had an extreme amount of men. And I don't know what would be considered an extreme amount, to even use the word extreme. But
it's one that she feels uncomfortable with.
It just sounds to me like she had a season of hoeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You remember that show?
Yeah, I did that show before.
You did.
And many people.
It was a great show.
Many women have had a season of hoeing, and many men have had such season as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So if he thinks that this is, look, who among us, man? Who among us? Me and Holly Holloman got put out of church during our season of hoeing. Okay?
Oh, that's funny.
You remember that, Holly? But the point is, though, I think I really want you to go tell him the truth, okay? I want you to go to this gentleman and tell him the truth, and just don't tell him the truth while you go for a walk in the park. Right? Go ahead, Holly.
I can't agree with that, Don, because men, like you said, we're insecure. There's a lot of insecurities with us. And we measure things based on what other people think a lot. We do that a lot. Now, we may not say it as much. You know, we're not the guy that goes to church and want to know what the guys think about our suit. Like a woman may go to church and want to know about how women care about their outfit they wore to church. But we do have our insecurities, especially when it comes down to, is he better than I am? You know, and is there some guy out there that if he came back, he could take my place, or he has something that's more than what I have? If you know what I mean.
Okay, Holly, hold on. Leon, who is streaming with us live, just posted a question. He said, I don't think she provided all the info as to what made the dude ask that off the cuff like that, right?
Yeah, right.
Sometimes it's not what's said, but it's what's not said. So, Leon, I saw what you said. She's listening she's listening off the air, and I think she is texting me to say something.
She?
Okay, great. She's texting me right now. So thank you, Leon. That's really important.
It would be great.
Let's take a break.
She wouldn't call?
Let's take a break. That's what I'm going to try to do. Let's take a break real quick. When we come out of this break, I'm going to try to get her on the phone. If not, we're going to ask more questions. She is definitely following the show in the stream and both by text message. So, look, head over to the phone lines, 407-894-1680. You're listening to Don Miller, the Urban Empowered Inspiration Network, 100.7 FM on the FM dial. We'll be back in a moment.
the Savior come again. And oh, I'm coming home, Lord. Every day I keep trusting in your word. And Lord, keep me every day of my life. Oh, sin. I need your love. When it's all over, I want you to write my name above. Lord, when the gates swing open,